All right. Well, I think that wraps up topic 1.
All right.
So, Stephen, what is your topic today?
So, what I brought to the table was I come from a large family. My mom's one of 7. My dad's one of 9.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
Cousins, aunts, uncles, second cousins, all. I lose track of how many relatives I have at any given moment. But with such a big family, you've got the unique experience, at least from people I'm used to talking to, as an only child.
Right.
So you've got the unique perspective from an only child. Like, how do you think that affected you, negative, positively? Obviously, everyone's a unique snowflake, and their family situation and dynamic is going to be completely different. So obviously, I'm looking for broad strokes, or maybe just your individual experience from it.
Okay. Yeah, like you said, with the big family, like all the cousins and stuff, like sharing those memories at grandma and grandpa's and stuff like that. It's interesting because you get those experiences with all of us together.
Yeah.
Whether it's hide and seek or board games or whatever the hell we were doing, like
Spud.
Yeah. Oh God. Playing, like, doing those things together and like building those relationships and having those memories together, and then to go home and to have no one. I mean, obviously parents were there, but they're doing their own thing too.
Juxtaposition. It's a huge contrast from everybody in your face to just quiet time at home.
Yeah, it's definitely been interesting. I don't know if I've ever like fully thought about it.
Which is why I just kind of wanted to get into it and see what your perspective was.
Yeah, I mean, there were times, I would say growing up, I definitely felt like, a sibling would be nice in this situation just to do something with someone.
Yeah, the loneliness factor.
Yeah, but then there's also, like, when you first brought up this topic and we were planning the podcast, I had thought about it a little bit.
Yeah, you might want to take the time.
There's definitely been times with, like, summer vacations. Like, it's always that juggle for our parents of, like, what do we do with the kids? Where do they go? Because, like, if both parents are working, obviously you're not going to be, depending on your age, not staying home alone. So, like, growing up, having that juggling of, like, my mom, both of us were good friends with another, set of parents and child through Taekwondo.
Okay.
So that we would go and either I would spend the day at their house or flip it and they would spend the day there. And for summers, that's typically what we would do. And it would, like, be most of the week and most of the summer.
Yeah.
And for the most part, it was good. I do remember one instance where the head started to butt, and we had to kind of, like, take a break. So,
no. You guys didn't get along?
I know. Shocking. So I would say, like, that's been my closest experience with, like, obviously the negative side of having siblings, just because obviously not having to deal with that often. Yeah, it was just like...
Yeah, because that's the juxtaposition of it, too, is, like, you've got sibling rivalry and competition and sharing of resources. Like, being an only child's got pluses to it. Sure. But it's also got, just like anything, it's got its negatives, too. Yeah. Like, all the things that, you have companionship when your siblings are around. It's like all these different things that, people take it for granted or don't really psychoanalyze it. Sure. But, now that you've, kind of been, as an adult, a little bit removed, just kind of think back and be like, because, I mean, everything makes you, or at least attributes to who you are, who you've become. Yeah. So do you think you've, like, so you've had the cousins, but then you felt, like, the loneliness once you got home, did you ever, were you ever glad that, like, I'm alone, there's no one to bug me, or was that constantly where, like, you wanted, the grass is always greener on the other side, because I myself, with 2 brothers running around, my parents in the house, I'm just like, oh God, I just want to go away somewhere, I wish they weren't here, I just need my alone time. Yeah. So, I've got that side of it, so do you ever, I guess, value your alone time now, or more so than you would, or less?
I think I definitely do still value the alone time. Like, I've noticed it now even more in adulthood of, like, I just need to, like, cut everything out, and I don't know if that's just, the stresses of life, work, all that stuff.
Of course.
When I was a kid, like, I wouldn't say that yearning for, like, someone around was constant. It was just the occasional, like, oh, it would be nice, like, I want to play a board game, and no one's here, or that kind of thing. And then thinking about it more now, once again with age, just like, you said with the companionship. Obviously, if you have a healthy relationship with your siblings, that's somewhere you can always go.
Yes.
Like it's like obviously parents, nice to have that shared bond. Go to them with your stresses. Go with whatever. But maybe you can't go to them for some reason. Siblings.
You get that other layer.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I feel like with getting older, like obviously growing up, you have your friends. But life happens, and
some stuff you
go away,
can't
and it's
share
not like
the same things that
Sure.
you would with a sibling that you would,
exactly
an acquaintance or a friend.
Yeah, and like even if the relationship didn't go bad, just grow apart. Like you don't contact each other as much or whatever. And I feel like that at times gets to me now, where like I'm stressed and I don't know who to vent to in that moment. Like I don't feel, and it's weird saying safe, but like. I don't want to go to my parents for X or Y, or I don't want to go to Kate for whatever.
I mean, yeah, you have different people for different problems.
Sure. So it's like not
having that layer. Yeah.
I would feel that is maybe something I've lacked on or don't have. But yeah, I don't know. I definitely still value the alone time for sure.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that's just individuality too. Like,
sure.
I mean, are you more introverted, extroverted?
Right.
Like, that's just up to you. But,
yeah, and I'm curious if that's a factor too, because like obviously you know me.
Of course.
Like, not the most social of people. Like obviously it's gotten better, but
it does. Like you always struck me as someone with a bunch of friends, like a big social group. You've always got people over the house, like. Something I never really had as a kid. It was just me and my brothers. Right. We kind of kept to ourselves because we didn't, for a bunch of different reasons.
Sure.
Yeah. But you tend to like. I thought you were kind of like supplanting siblings with a bigger friend group.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I mean, you had that. You had all through Taekwondo. I mean, that was a constant social network. That was a family too. I mean, it wasn't like a. It was even better like a sports team too, because you do that for a year or two and then you go away or you get on a different team but that was you went through one place for a while now.
Oh yeah, 20 years.
That's wild.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Like, yeah, just
almost
making
your second family.
Exactly, making that. Huh. I don't know, just things you don't think about.
I mean, this is why I kind of like long form one-on-one conversations like this, because when the hell we ever
right.
You don't drink and I drink too much, so it's like we're sitting down for a beer. And it's hard at family reunions or picnics because you got a million different people running around trying to say hi to this person, hi to that person, goodbye to that person.
Right.
Come throw this and catch this with me.
Sure.
It's like, okay.
Yeah.
But
so on the flip side of things, with two brothers, how was that experience growing up?
So I mean, challenging at times. I mean, obviously it's easier to point out the bad than the good.
Sure.
It's just human nature, but. There's definitely, so I've got Donnie, who's my younger brother, the middle kid. He's 2 years younger than I am. And then Charles is the youngest. He's 6 years younger than I am. So with Donnie and I, there was more of a direct sibling rivalry. We were closer in age. It was, if he did it, I had to do it better. And one-upsmanship. And then, I mean, stupid kid stuff. We would ruffle and tumble. I think I gave him a concussion once. He knocked out a couple of my teeth. Back and forth stuff like that.
Sure.
And then when it came to Charles, I think because we were that much farther separated, there wasn't really any competition between us. We weren't fighting over the same stuff. Like, Donnie would be like, "Why can he do that and not me?" To looking up at me. And it's a little bit easier to say that to Charlie, but it's because he's a big kid.
Yeah.
But the interesting dynamic that he added to the sibling relationship was it almost like Donnie and I were competing over his affection and his attention.
Yeah.
So it was weird because like, oh no, come do this with me, or no, come do this with me, and then it grew into like, you can have them. I'm going out.
Got my fill.
Yeah. It was weird because like you go through like little windows where it would rotate. Like he was into trucks and dirt and construction. Donnie's like, hell yeah, dude, let's do it. He got into cars and girls, and I'm like, buddy, now what are we talking about here? All right. But and then as we've gotten older, and obviously I've been away for so long,
right?
But our adult relationships are a lot stronger, a lot healthier. Can go and talk to them about damn near anything. So it is, like you said, good to have that kind of extra release valve.
Sure.
And then knowing that they're going to be get a little morbid on you. When my mom and dad go, I'm going to have them to kind of fall back on
Sure.
and have them to ride it out with me.
Sure. Yeah.
Just something to think about. Like, but then they're also going to get a third of the inheritance. So like pluses and negatives.
Yeah, that's been a thought too of like a boy like being the only one to deal with that, and then all of the stuff and whatever. I mean, Dad makes jokes about it, like
right,
just mom's crap, But like, yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, hopefully way down the line.
Sure,
but there's something that I mean. Yeah, because like no one else is gonna know what you went through.
Right.
No one gonna know them as parents.
Right.
What? So.
Yeah. So with kind of alluding back to the last topic, with you being away for so long, were you guys like? Did you guys keep up communication with each other often? Or?
I'm horrible at keeping up with people.
Sure.
I talk to my mother maybe once a month.
Okay.
So, even when I'm across the bridge now, she's like hits me up on text. I'm like,
sure.
No, I'm still alive. What's up?
Yeah.
It's like, you need something?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, unless you ask me like a direct question, I'm not getting back to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I really don't reach out often enough to anyone
Sure.
to, really hash anything out with, so.
Okay.
But no, I mean, anytime we catch up or we do talk, it's like, yo, hey, what's going on? We might talk to you for an hour, and then
Sure.
you're like, cool, see you, in, 5 to 6 months.
Sure. Okay, so it's always felt like that, like just kind of pick right back up where you left off.
Yeah, we've never really been like, let's talk on the phone every week.
Sure.
Kind of,
Yeah.
Relationship.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That means it's a very healthy relationship. That
Yeah, I can pick up the
go
phone,
right to
call
it.
Donnie, and he'll be like right over, like, hey, what do you need? How
Sure.
can I help you? So, I mean, yeah, he drives way too much, but
Sure.
like he'll drive an hour and a half just to say hi.
Mm-hmm. All right, and then kind of on the next layer of it, with obviously us all getting older, but families growing.
Yeah.
How does it feel to be like an uncle? How's that experience?
It's weird. Right now they're too young to be like
Sure.
really have a conversation with or get to know their personality. I mean, like, all right, kid, kind of rub their head and point them in the right direction. Like, all right, I'll pick you up and show you something cool real quick. But I lose interest in kids real quick.
Sure.
Once they get talking and once they start doing some more cool stuff and be able to tell me about it, I'll enjoy it more.
Sure.
But yeah, until they're old enough to like pick up rocks and sticks from my backyard, they're useless to me.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, because I've thought about that too. Like, that's an experience I'll probably never have. Like,
no kids for
I'm
yourself,
an only child. Kate's an only child.
Mm-hmm.
So like even just that facet of aunt uncle.
Like, you'll never be able to be that cool uncle for somebody.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess I can still kind of get it with the cousins.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know if that's gonna feel different, like or whatever.
It definitely hit me, struck me like I'm gonna be an uncle.
Sure.
I'm gonna mess this kid's life up real bad.
Mm-hmm.
But he's there. He's just they're too young,
Sure.
both of them.
Yeah.
But they're cute to watch and
Sure.
run around and play with for a little while.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, don't have any responsibilities at the moment, so that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
You can, like you said, just go and feed them a bunch of sugar.
Yeah, and then
show
bye.
them all the bad stuff. And,
Yeah.
Did you know this can make noise? Oh yeah, I got you're fewer soccer games and birthday party cards you have to write.
Yeah.
Oh god, all the crap that we went like. We had 3 kids and they all did the same crap like year after year. You like my poor grandparents. Could you imagine having to go through all the grandkids stuff?
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, hopping around everywhere.
Yeah. That's getting dragged to that stuff later on once they start getting
Sure.
activities like. No, I don't want to go see their play.
They just do one? Yeah. Oh, God. All right. Sure. I'll be there.
What do you think about kids for yourself?
It's been a back and forth thought. Like, I don't know. Kate's not really...
Got to do with it.
So I'm like, yeah, that's fair. I think the biggest thing, like, growing up, it always seemed like that would be the track or whatever. I don't know, like, it's a lot of discussion I've had now being older, if it's like, and across many different discussions, whether it's career, kids, life, whatever.
Of course, yeah.
I don't know if it's just the messaging that was put out there, not just by my parents. I'm not trying to dump it on them of like, oh, it's your fault, but just like
as he's looking at
just like everybody's conversation of like, this is the path in life. Like, you hit 18, you go to college. You hit this age, you get an apartment or a house.
That's what you do.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if it's just like
our generation's got such a bad lot though. Like everything's so much further back.
Sure.
Like, sure, you can go to 18 and go to college, but then you're like, now I have to pay off this debt.
Right.
I have to rent an apartment until I can pay off this debt, and then I can. The market now is it was at 3, now it's at 12.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I don't know if it's just all that, like, I guess subliminal messaging of like thinking I wanted that, and then with Taekwondo, like anything, good days, bad days.
Yeah.
Like all these kids are great, of various ages,
but not kids aren't great all the time.
Sure. And then the bad experience is like, oof, yeah, no, I'm good. So, like, even now, I don't know, I think I'm more on the negative side towards it. Not like it's a bad experience, but, like, I don't know if that's my path to have kids. But it still creeps in from time to time of, like, sharing those experiences.
Yeah.
Like,
that would be nice if,
Like, it's a silly thing, but, like, Disney's always been a big thing for us. And, like, going to Disney, like,
to
this
just be
most
able to
recent
show
trip.
someone something for the first time.
Exactly. Like, I had that experience with Kate. She hadn't gone to Disney World in Florida, but sharing that with her, so obviously,
you get to experience
relationship
it through her for the first time.
Exactly. Yeah. And like seeing it through a child,
it's a different place. Like that's why parents bring their kids.
Exactly.
And spend thousands and thousands.
Yes. But like even thinking of whether it's obviously that scale or something different of sharing those experiences together, or seeing like, what are you interested in? Are you interested in similar things that I am, and I can share that with you? Mm-hmm. Or are you going to be into something totally different?
You don't know what you're going to get.
We can experience it together and learn that. So, like, and then thinking back to, like, parents and, like, the experience I shared with them. Like, Pokemon cards. My dad humored me, and we would play it from time to time. And
it's got game theory behind it.
Yeah, and obviously we now share, like, the video game stuff and having those conversations, and then obviously Mom once again with Disney and stuff like that, and the shared experiences with like Taekwondo, with us both being in it, obviously me on the floor and then her in the back and doing the office work, but like having that shared experience.
Make a bad joke, but we're like different podcast.
That's something I've thought about, but then also leaning towards like the not having kids side. Like I think I talked about it at the party the last time. Like I don't feel ready. I don't feel like I have my stuff in check at all. And to think to bring someone else into this, and then obviously 100% responsibility for them. Like it's not like you said, hang out with a kid. Okay, you're gone. Someone else's.
Like, no, I mean some people roll the theory like you're never going to be ready.
Sure,
and it'll like force you to get your shit together.
Sure,
but
and
what if you don't?
Right. It's just like to me that's too much of a risk. Yeah. Like everything I do affects you in good, bad,
and
whatever.
If you're not in a good spot, it's gonna affect the kid too, because you're gonna be stressed and not be able to provide them as much attention
and that
love
live with me forever.
Yeah. And then that's on you. When that kid enters the world, it's your fault.
Yeah. So, that's just been my big thing now. And once again, circling back to the subliminal messaging or whatever, it's just like it's a lot of stress to think about and consider. And I know that doesn't have to be the path. Obviously, that's just something like the battle inside of myself of like, what do I want?
Yeah.
Right now, it seems to be leaning towards no. But I can't lie and be like, that's not a creeping thought every once in a while. I'm like, I don't know. And I think from what we've talked in the past, you guys are...
No, I've never wanted kids. Never. Fleeting thought.
Fair enough.
I always wanted to be the bad uncle.
Hey, we all gotta roll the
do the fun stuff with the kids and then send them home, Sure. I enjoy my peace and quiet. I know I'm a selfish person, so it's just,
No, it's not... I think that's... Like, I've had that thought, too, of, like, am I being selfish right now? I don't think
you can look at it both ways. Like, it might be selfish to, like, I want a copy of me in the world.
Sure.
Like, I'm so great. There should be more of me.
Sure. Yeah. No, there's nothing wrong with having that time to ourselves and figuring that out. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Like, instead of not having your shit together.
Sure. Yeah.
You got 6 years on you. I'm still working on it.
Mm-hmm. So.
You're 8, I think, yeah? You're 32?
I'm 30.
30. Yeah, 8. I'm 38.
Yeah. Yep. So what would you say is what's the best thing about having brothers?
Having backup for mom and dad. like, I was the oldest, so I still had to pave the way. Mm-hmm. But I had, like, 2 other guys, if something went down, to point at and be like, oh, instead of, like, Stephen! Sometimes it was, boys! Mm-hmm. Dispersible blame. Sure. Just to be able to get into things together and get up to no good with just being like, those damn kids, as opposed to him again. Sure. Okay. Yeah, that's always nice.
Sure. And then, is there anything that you want to improve in your relationship with your brothers?
I wish I was closer with Donnie, honestly.
Okay.
It's harder. Like, Charles and I has always been a little bit more simpatico, just because we didn't have that initial rivalry dynamic. Yeah. But he's, got a wife and kids, so he's kind of sequestered away. If he's not working, he's taking care of them or doing, family stuff. Yeah. And so he's not coming over just to hang one-on-one too often. But yeah, I wish I would, or wish we could spend, arrange more time to spend a one-on-one, just kind of hanging out and getting to know each other a little bit better.
Sure. Nice.
Charles, I don't know.
Yeah, you get enough with him. Nice. Well, anything else you wanted to cover with this topic?
I think that's about it. Yeah, you hit all the things that I was curious about, and all the pluses and negatives. There's two sides to every coin.
Definitely. Nice. I like that time.